Welcome to Sandlot Sports. I am Adam Capperson. I'm here with Dorian Cody.
I know how to handle the Kyrie situation. Trade him to Orlando.
You just want him to go to basketball purgatory. That's just all there is to it. And BJ Thomas.
I think it's official. We can start saying, "How about them Cowboys?"
I think we can. We'll wait to the NFL segment for that though. So I guess we'll start with college like we normally do. And
Well,
I guess
don't worry. I'll make sure it permeates everything.
Oh, I'm sure.
I got this.
But there is a team in college that's hated almost as much as the Cowboys. They lost over the
Notre
weekend.
Dame,
Alabama.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm gonna lie. I talk shit about Alabama, but you have to admire the system.
Yeah. That's the thing. And they had 100 straight victories over unranked opponents. And granted, most of that is like non-conference bullshit, but that's neither here nor there. What they showed on Saturday is that the cliche of defense wins championships has been, and will always be right.
Always
If you don't have a defense, you are in trouble.
Absolutely.
Dude, like shout out to the Texas A&M front four, man. That defensive line, they held up perfectly, or at least well. I mean,
shout out to the second string quarterback looking like the real deal out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like he's not even supposed to be there. He's just there.
Was it Calzana last name? Calzana?
I keep calling him Calzone, but I think you're right.
He earned the respect for me to look up his name, so just give me a second.
Facts.
You know what I mean? I don't want to disrespect him.
Yeah.
He played quite the game. I was impressed.
And let's think about this. This is the team that scored 10 points against Colorado. Could not do jack shit against Colorado. Colorado couldn't do anything against them either. And it's hit football back about 20 years. But 10 points against Colorado. And
any given Saturday.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. Calzada. Zach Calzada.
Yeah, Calzada. Okay.
And BJ, you said it. Was that not one of the best sports Saturdays or just sports days we've had in a while?
Yeah. Everything from like Alabama, and then you had Fury Wilder at night. What are some of the other college games?
The Michigan-Nebraska game.
Michigan-Nebraska was a good game. Yeah, that should give you a heart attack. That was a good game. Yeah. Man, it was a good weekend. And then Sunday shows up. And it's like, hold on, guys, wait a second.
Hold on, professional will show you how to do it.
I'm going to show you how to miss 4 field goals and still win a game.
That's crazy, man.
It was best kicker in the league out there flailing.
Yeah, but that's the thing with Bama losing, it brings the chaos that BJ was looking for.
I'm loving it. The chaos is on its way. I'm telling you. Oh, if Alabama loses again, I'm not saying they will, but if Alabama loses again, they are going to be scrambling to figure out the situation.
Let's play this out. Let's say BJ's right and Georgia loses to Florida. Because rivalry games, anything can happen, as we saw on Saturday when Oklahoma almost lost to Texas. Let's say Georgia. That was another one on Saturday.
That second half, we could do a podcast on that second half
alone. Right,
alone.
That was amazing. But let's say Georgia loses to Florida. Well, you'll have a one-loss Georgia team playing a one-loss Alabama team in the SEC championship. Mm-hmm. Both of them are not making an M. One of them is going to have 2 losses.
Are you sure with all that SEC favoritism you talk about? You sure it won't happen?
I think they'll try to make it happen, but because Georgia will drop so far down on the polls, losing to Florida, I think that will prevent it. Now, granted, they'll find some way of screwing over Cincinnati, because screwing over the little guys is a tradition unlike any other in college football.
You got to remember, I believe the headquarters of the NCAA is in Indiana. Is that correct?
Indianapolis, yes.
Yeah. So that's still the South. You have to remember that. Like, that's the South. I don't care what anybody says. If you are the headquarters, if your home state is the headquarters for the modern day KKK, you are the South. I don't care what latitude you're at. It doesn't count. Latitude has nothing to do with this.
The most recent export is Mike Pence.
Is that an export or a regurgitation?
Yes.
Yes.
Does Georgia play Kentucky
this weekend?
Ooh.
Something's gonna happen. We know that. That's one thing.
One of our games that
Something will happen. Oh well,
man,
that's a terrible game to pick.
I know. I'm not looking forward to that one.
Adam's not setting us up with any like softballs or anything. Jeez.
Exactly. That's gonna be a good one. So if Georgia. Okay, so if Kentucky beats Georgia, but Georgia beats Alabama, how do you think that'll shake out?
Okay, well, okay, again, let's play that out. If Kentucky beats Georgia, Georgia's got one loss. Kentucky won't have any in the SEC.
Right.
Okay. So Georgia would need Kentucky to lose twice to
Right.
even have a chance at Alabama.
Gotcha. Okay. So okay, so if Kentucky, let's say Kentucky beats Georgia, Kentucky wins out and meet Alabama in SEC championship, and then Alabama beats Kentucky. Will that hold as much weight as if they? Well, I guess it would.
I mean, the bottom line is that the winner of the SEC is making the playoffs. Unless something just bizarre happens, the winner of the SEC is making the playoffs, whether that's Bama, Georgia, whomever. It's where the SEC get a second team in, and now that's not looking as guaranteed as it was just a few days ago.
Right. Right. You still have what? All right. So you have Georgia that's undefeated. I mean, you got Iowa's undefeated. Are there any other undefeated teams in the top 5 right now?
All of them are undefeated except for Alabama.
Yeah, that's right, because Oklahoma, they're still undefeated.
Yep. Yeah, I'll pull up the top 10 here in a second once my phone.
Except for Alabama. No, I mean, like I said, I'm just hating. I'm a Florida guy, so it's kind of easy to talk shit about Alabama, but you have to appreciate the system. They keep getting the players in and pumping them right out in the NFL, and man, those guys are making for some good Sundays.
Yeah.
Yep. So Dorian,
sorry.
Here's the top 10. It is dominated by the Big Ten, by the way. Georgia's 1, Iowa's 2, Cincinnati's 3, Oklahoma's 4. Then it goes Alabama, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, Oregon, Michigan State.
Dang.
Yeah, half of the top 10 is the Big Ten.
All right. And you got Michigan and Michigan State in the top 10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Wow.
I believe the last time that they played each other and they were both ranked in the top 10 was
high school
1952.
Oh my God.
It's been a while.
Probably when TJ Duckett was the starting running back.
No, this is like before our parents were born.
Wow. Yes.
Because you got to remember, like, there was a long stretch where Michigan State just was not good.
Right.
I mean, there was a long stretch. The Big Ten was Michigan, Ohio State, and everybody else.
Everybody else, right.
And it wasn't really until D'Antonio got there that they even became competent.
SEC can start claiming Oklahoma, by the way.
As long as the Big 12 can start claiming Cincinnati.
Sure, that's fine. You can have them. It's fine. You have me. I'm not sure they're going to be there much longer anyways.
But see, and here's the problem, Dorian, going back to your point. Like I said, you got 5 in the Big Ten that are in the top 10. Iowa's going to play one of the other 4 in the Big Ten title game. Right. So you got this log jam of Penn State, Michigan State, Ohio State, and Michigan all kind of mixed in together. They're all going to play each other, but depending on how those games go, they may not drop that far. So, because Michigan plays Michigan State in a couple on Halloween weekend. Okay, cool. That's 8 and 10. Then Michigan State plays Ohio State. Well, depending on how far Michigan State or Michigan fall, whoever wins that game.
I see what you did there.
Yeah,
you said Michigan State first. That was sneaky confidence leaking out of you right there. That was. You heard it, Dorian. No,
I did.
Noted.
But Penn State also has to play Ohio State. And again, the winner of that Big Ten East has to go back and play Iowa. And I don't think Iowa's going to go undefeated this year. I think they're going to pull a Clemson. They're going to lose somewhere on that schedule.
The defensive loser says what? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm telling you, Iowa's defense is excellent. It's probably taking the place of where Alabama's defense usually would be.
Well, and the Iowa defense is always very, very solid. It's just now they have a quarterback that's not going to, make a mistake. Honestly, I was surprised to not see Nate Staley back there. I think he was like a 6th-year senior last year. So I mean, and yes, I think it was Petras is the name of the quarterback. You talk about a bad start to a game. The first quarter, he was 1 for 9 with 1 interception for 9 yards.
That's horrible.
And I will say this: the only reason why they won that game because they broke Sean Clifford at Penn State.
That's how Tony Romo started most of his games. What are you talking about? A bad start? It's a slow start. Slow start. We're working on things. It'll be okay.
But if Sean Clifford doesn't get hurt, Iowa loses that game. Because Penn State they weren't rolling, but their offense was moving the ball a little bit. When Roberson came in, that offense just became stagnant and horrible.
I agree.
Kentucky and Ole Miss got a real shot to make some noise in this ranking situation here also.
Yeah, well, the problem with Ole Miss is that they need Bama to lose again.
I mean, they're not the same. They're not the same Bama. They're still Bama. They're still different, but they aren't the 2 notches above everybody else.
Okay,
they're sitting right above everybody else.
Well, let's look at their schedule for a second. Okay, so upcoming on Bama's schedule, they got Mississippi State, Tennessee, LSU, New Mexico State, and the hard game there, Arkansas, and Auburn.
I'm riding with Arkansas.
You calling it now? Arkansas over Alabama?
Wouldn't that be crazy? That'd be like 3 out of 5 of my Arkansas picks hitting. That'd be nuts. Oh, geez, why not? You're out on a limb. Arkansas over Alabama. You heard it here first.
Yeah, damn, I had to complete a touchdown pass with no time left to go. Mississippi couldn't cover.
Do you think that Auburn game could be a trap game for Bama? They are playing in Auburn.
Here's the deal. Nick Saban has a losing record against Auburn teams that have at least 9 wins going into that game. Auburn's not going to have 9 wins going into that game.
9 wins, yeah.
So, and I think any Auburn team that's 8-3 or worse, I don't think they've beaten Alabama.
Why am I kind of sneaky happy that LSU's not in the rankings?
Because you agree with me that Ed Orgeron's an overrated coach.
See, I knew once you posed these questions and thoughts in the group chat today, I knew you was coming on the show tonight. I don't want you to talk about Ed Orgeron like that. I don't think that's fair. He looks like a potato and he's still pulling college shit. There has to be something that if I were an 18-year-old, I'd be like, he's going to teach me things that I may never learn anywhere else in life. So I'm going to go to LSU. So I feel like his recruiting definitely got a bump up. His coaching is questionable at best. But recruiting-wise, geez, he's starting to creep up there near Saban with his. How do you let that pitcher get out? How do you be a grown man in the public eye for most of your life and you let that pitcher get out? Potato laying next to Reese Witherspoon's cousin.
Okay, outside of the 2 years that Ed has had Joe Burrow in his system, here's his record: 6-2, 6-2, 9-4, 5-5, 3-3.
I mean, that's cool, like Central Michigan or something, but that's not really going to get you.
That's not LSU.
Else.
I mean,
where's that?
Yeah, I mean, Ed might beat Manny Diaz in getting fired this year.
Where was Ed before LSU? I can't remember.
Mississippi and USC.
That's right.
Yeah. So when he was at Mississippi, his total record was 10-25.
That's solid.
Head coach?
Yeah.
That's solid.
Oh.
Yeah, he had a half a year at USC because I think I forget who got fired. He kind of stepped in. He was 6-2 at USC. And then he went to LSU, was okay, got Burrow, got hot, got magic. Burrow left, and then went back to being Ed Orgeron.
Did he take over? Did he take over when Shark got fired from USC?
That may have been who he took over for.
Okay.
Oh no! I took
Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then Shark took over for Orgeron.
For Ed. Yeah.
For Ed, right? Okay. Yeah, that's what it was. All right.
Wow. Look, in hindsight, that's not much of. That seems like a lateral move, if you ask me. Like Sark's the offensive version of Ed Ogeron.
Yeah.
I mean, I know down in Louisiana they love Ed because he sounds like him, he talks like him, he looks like him. He just doesn't coach the way they want him to.
Yeah.
Oh,
BJ's
man.
just laughing to himself over there.
Potato. Man, like, where else would that be acceptable? It's almost like the Cincinnati Bengals also run LSU. The old Bengals, sorry, but new Bengals. But before it was pretty bad. They kept Marvin Lewis on. I mean, they were 8-8 for a decade.
Yeah, so was Jeff Fisher. What's your point?
Oh, that was terrible too.
Fish.
But at least Fish went to the Super Bowl.
This is true.
I mean, he gave him some kind of hope.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Ogeron. So who's LSU bringing in? Because he's gone. He's got to be gone.
I don't know, and that's the problem. I know Michigan's kind of had that conversation earlier in the year. Is if you get rid of your existing coach, who are you bringing in? Because to your point, you want to move up in the world. You don't want to have a lateral move.
Right.
I mean, USC's cool with it, apparently.
Yeah, well, it's USC.
Yes, it is USC. Not saying much.
I mean, maybe Matt Campbell from Iowa State, because he may not have a job soon.
Why would you go like from one place that likes to get overrated to another place that likes to get overrated? That doesn't seem like a good move. That's a lateral move for him.
Because LSU can pay a lot more money. And if he stays at Iowa State, he may not be in the Power Five here.
I don't care. I'm all for LSU hiring no-name coaches that are unproven and then them failing. I'm cool with it. They could go through a decade of that. I don't care.
Hey, you still riding Dan Mullins there in Florida?
Oh no, I'm just talking like this because the Cowboys are doing great and I'm pretty amped up. Sorry guys, I'm gonna tell you, working it into every segment. So if I'm correct, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct, probably gonna rub most of the listeners the wrong way because if you don't like the Cowboys, you kind of hate them for the most part. That's my life experience. There's no argument from either one of you, and it's also very quiet on Sundays. After the Cowboys game, nobody talks to me until Monday for some reason. I can't quite figure it out.
Well, I can tell you exactly why I didn't talk to you on Sunday because I was at SeaWorld with my family all the time. I didn't give a shit about the NFL.
That's perfectly acceptable. But while you were doing that, I was celebrating.
Oh, that's fine.
Again. It was wonderful. I sent you that meme earlier that called said God hates the Lions. the best 0-5 team in the league.
Yes. Yeah. Oh. I think it was Tirico during the delay on Sunday. He was like, when Dempsey beat them with the record-setting field goal, they lost 19-17. When Tucker beat them with the record-setting field goal, beat them 19-17. So when they lost again at the gun, they lost 19-17. Yeah. And they ran a set that the Lions are the first team ever to lose 2 games of a game-winning field goal at the gun of more than 50 yards in the same season, and done it in like 3 weeks. Because efficiency,
because consistency is key.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, I got us talking about NFL again. We still have to talk about our horrible, no good, very bad college football picks.
Oh no. We'll get to the picks, but the picks are actually good.
Oh, I forgot. We're semi knowledgeable about college football.
Yeah, we kind of know what we're talking about in college.
Moronic when it comes to NFL picks. There we go.
Well, how's this for a spoiler? One of us is 500 with their NFL picks.
That's you if you're talking about it.
No, we'll have to see. So as I said in the group chat, the games this week are not good. But I try to pick the ones that would at least be competent. The first one we have is Michigan State and Indiana. Sparty's a 4.5-point favorite in Bloomington.
Pretty sure Michigan State's going to cover that one.
Dorian?
I'm going with Sparty.
Yeah, I actually had time, so I made my picks ahead of time, so I can actually, look at that. I can actually, pick them. Yeah, I'm going with Sparty too, and not because I think that Sparty is that much better. I think they cover. I think Indiana is just they're back to being Indiana, especially with Penix being out.
Mhm.
I know Tom Allen has that defense, doing what it can, but they can only hold up for so long. So I mean, we'll see. It is in Bloomington, and you never really know. But I don't see Indiana having the firepower that they had last year. So the next game we have is Oklahoma State and Texas. Now this one's interesting. Oklahoma State's undefeated. Texas has 2 losses. It's in Austin, and Texas is a 5.5-point favorite.
What does Vegas think that we don't know?
Oh, I mean, I'll tell you this: Vegas knows a lot that we don't know.
Yeah, I know, right?
So I read an article that Vegas actually made, I think it was like $1.5 million on the Baltimore game last night because they had the spread of Baltimore -7, and people were just slamming it hard, thinking Baltimore was going to cover. And oops,
They did not.
they did not cover.
They almost didn't win.
Nope. And we'll get to that in the NFL segment, but I thought that was interesting.
So I believe that Vegas is saying Oklahoma State's overrated. I'm going to go with Texas. I don't know if that's true. That's what I think they're saying.
That's what. Well, they're saying that everyone else thinks that Oklahoma State is overrated. That's what they're saying.
I'm going to be everyone else this weekend.
At Dorian?
That loss that Texas took from Oklahoma, I don't know if they'll be able to recover from it. So I'm going with Oklahoma State. It's gonna be close, but I think Oklahoma State may pull this.
You're saying that second half beat the Jesus out of them, just destroyed them mentally.
Dude, they were like, it's crazy.
They had that game under control.
The backup quarterback came in and gave them the business. The freshman backup quarterback came in and gave them the business.
And it was not that long ago that mock NFL drafts had Spencer Rattler going #1 in the draft. Now he's not even #1 on his own depth chart.
I see him in transfer portal mentioned a lot. Portal, excuse me. So it may be interesting.
Yeah, real quick. There's a meme that I saw. And it had Patrick Mahomes turned into Spencer Rattler. It's at that Bills game. I will find it sent to you guys. It was hilarious together.
Those Chiefs look rough.
I heard the best description of their stadium today. Camara head.
Oh. Man. Oh,
jeez.
So yeah, Chiefs fans out there, man.
Yeah, so both of them. So for those who can't see, yeah, I picked Oklahoma State too, and Dorian, I agree with you. It's like I don't see how Texas gets back up after that game because it was in hand. They had it, and they just blew it. And again, defense wins championships. You don't have defense.
You're making me want to change my pick. I'm not gonna, but you're making me want to. Stop. Go to the next one.
So the next one is the Florida Gators and LSU.
Put me down. You guys talk about this. I'm just gonna blah 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 the same shit I always say. So they should win this game. They got 2 starting quarterbacks. Just pick one and figure it out.
Yeah, I'm picking Florida, man. I think the only way they'll lose that game, they have to beat themselves, like turnovers or something.
Oh, you mean like they did last year?
Yeah, that's the only way they'll be able to beat themselves.
See, I just can't for our listeners. I can't talk shit about Ed Orgeron, need to be fired, and then pick him to beat Florida. That would just be stupid. So I have to pick Florida.
Look, we saw this week that the man's capable of magic. Capable of magic. Is this more common than I think? Am I just overreacting to this?
Yes.
Him waking up with a 19-year-old or laying in bed with a 19-year-old? Okay, whatever. That's fine.
Well, we see where BJ's priorities are.
No, I just like that's got to help.
He's got the same priorities that Urban Meyer has.
That's got to help recruiting.
Yeah.
And I was thinking if I was Ed Orgeron, I would go to the away teams hangouts and find the ones that are sleeping with the coaches and then sleep with them for dominance.
You're gonna mark your territory?
Now, when the feminists come out and say shit about this, just remember that you said mark your territory, because I did not say that. I'm glad our voices are very distinct.
Yes. Remember, that was BJ Thomas that said that. So the last game on our list is the top 11 matchup between Kentucky and Georgia. Kentucky's number 11, undefeated, going into Athens. Georgia's the 23.5-point favorite.
I'm going to do this. Georgia wins but doesn't cover. A 23-point gap? I just 24.
Yeah. I agree with BJ, man. Like, I mean, Georgia's gonna win, but
23? I mean, their defense is top notch. Like theirs and Iowa's defense seem to be head of the class.
Right.
It'd be great to see them catch up to each other in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do one of those classic like 10 to 13 games or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, that'd be terrible. We're all getting addicted to this 80-point football games.
No, dude, go back. I think it was 2015 when Iowa played Michigan State for the Big Ten title. And the final score was 16-13. And you talk about a hard-nosed, old-school, great football game. That was amazing.
That's what we grew up with. It's easy to watch that stuff because it's just like, oh, man, struggle is real out here today.
And watch the final touchdown scored by L.J. Scott. Sparty was down 13-9. I think there was like a minute or so to go. They were down to 1, and I've never seen anyone fight so hard to get 1 yard. And he, at the very last second, he reached the ball over the goal line, saw an Iowa defender coming in, reached it, saw the official try to put his hands up for a touchdown, pulled it back, so it wasn't knocked out. It was amazing. So do yourself a favor and go back and watch that game. And BJ, to your point, if Iowa and Georgia do play, I think it's going to be 13-9. 17-16, some old school, just what football used to be.
I was just thinking, like, there's also a thing that I've seen over the past few years where sometimes these defensive teams meet up and both offenses do so much preparation where it's like the defenses have their worst performances of the year too. So it could go either way. I'd be excited for either outcome. It'd be crazy to see two great defenses get scored on a bunch, and it'd be also awesome to see a great defensive performance in a low-scoring game. So I'm just excited for that potential matchup.
Oh, awesome. And that's actually kind of what happened at Michigan with the Michigan-Nebraska game, is that the Michigan defense came out, kind of established the line of scrimmage, established the first half, and Nebraska made the adjustments, and they just went crazy in that third quarter. But it was all different kinds of formations, different kinds of plays, not some strict plays, but just different scheming. It was really fun to watch. Now, obviously, it gave me a mini heart attack. But being, if you don't root for the other team, it was really fun to watch just how Nebraska countered the chess match. So yeah, I think watching a team that's good enough to hang with Georgia defensively, so their offense doesn't go crazy, I think would be really fun to watch. Kentucky, not that team.
Maybe Kentucky says let's trade buckets. You never know.
Yeah. But
that'd be fun to watch too.
The problem with Kentucky is that they are a power running team, and that's great. I mean, it's something different than what every other team out there is, but that runs right into Georgia's hands. And that same Michigan State team I talked about in 2015, they were a good, solid power running team, ran up against Alabama in the playoffs, and that didn't turn out too well.
It rarely does.
Yeah, and I think it was like 38-0. And I see this game kind of going that way. The 24 scares me for Georgia to cover.
A little much.
Yeah, but I can see it going downhill quickly if Georgia can jump on them early. Kentucky's not a team that can catch up, and it can go sideways in a hurry.
Yeah, especially with power running teams who they're good once they have the lead. If they have to come from behind.
Yeah.
I mean, let me put it this way. If Kentucky loses to Georgia by 24 points, they should probably drop quite a bit.
Yes.
I mean, that's a clear statement that you don't belong this year.
Yeah. And that goes back to the point of if Georgia beats Kentucky, and let's say they cover, Kentucky will drop probably into the 20s. There's nobody else in the SEC. Like it's Bama and Georgia, and then nothing, like a wasteland of mediocrity.
Beating the crap out of each other.
But normally a third or even fourth team will kind of bubble up, but not this year.
A lot of quarterback problems in the E SEC.
That's a recruiting problem. Maybe if they had a coach better than Ed Orgeron, they could recruit better.
Oh,
Ed
so you
recruit-
trying to say Brad
Ed-
Johnson's son is not the answer to
Ed,
LSU?
Ed recruits all kind of talent. Just let Ed recruit.
Just not on the football field.
Is talent a cancelable offense nowadays? Probably.
Well, maybe to Urban Meyer.
No, he definitely calls women talent. I bet money on that.
Oh man, this Will, when we
So,
go to the NFL, there's
yeah.
a story that I read about.
there's
Urban
a bunch. There's a bunch of stories, and we'll get to that here in a second. We'll take a quick break.